You know the wet dog shake. Everyone does. That glorious, chaotic, full-body ripple that starts at the nose and travels all the way to the tail. Ears flapping, water flying in every direction, usually all over you. It's one of the most recognizable things a dog does. But here is something you may never have noticed, even though it has been happening right in front of you, over and over, for years. Sometimes, your dog does that exact same shake when it is completely, perfectly dry. No bath, no swim, no rain. You give your dog a long, warm hug. You let go, and it takes a step back and shakes its whole body, as if flinging off water that isn't there. You walk out of the vet's office, reach the sidewalk, and your dog stops and shakes. Two dogs meet. There's a tense little standoff. It passes, and one of them shakes and trots away, bone dry every time. So what on earth is your dog shaking off when there's nothing there to shake? The answer turns out to be one of the most useful things you can ever learn to see in a dog. Because that dry little shake is not about water at all. It is your dog hitting a reset button right in front of you. And once you learn to notice it, it becomes a window straight into how your dog is actually feeling. Tonight, let's decode the shake. And if you want more fascinating explanations of the little things your dog does every day, subscribe to Dog Mind and stay with us. To understand the dry shake, it helps to start with the wet one, and with just how brilliant a piece of engineering it really is. When a dog gets soaked, a wet coat is not just uncomfortable, it's dangerous. Fur that is waterlogged.
So dogs and many furry mammals evolved an astonishingly efficient solution. That whip-fast whole-body oscillation can throw off a huge amount of the water trapped in the coat in just a few seconds, far faster and more effectively than air drying ever could. The shake is a beautifully designed survival tool, built to fling water away at high speed. But here's where it gets fascinating. Evolution rarely lets a good tool go to waste, and that powerful, full-body reset-everything motion turned out to be useful for something far beyond drying off. Somewhere along the way, the shake became a way for a dog to reset not just its coat, but its entire emotional state. The same motion that flings water from the fur can also, in a sense, fling tension from the body. Because this is the heart of it. When a dog is under stress, or wound up with excitement, or bracing through a tense moment, that arousal builds up physically inside its body. Muscles tighten, the nervous system revs, and when the moment finally passes, the dog needs a way to let all of that go, to physically discharge it and come back down to normal. And one of the most effective tools it has for that is the shake. That big, rippling shake-off is, quite literally, a dog shaking off stress. If you enjoy discovering what your dog's behavior is really trying to tell you, subscribe to Dog Mind. There is always more to uncover. This is why the timing is everything, and why once you know it, you'll start seeing it everywhere. The shake tends to come right at the end of something, right after the tense thing is over. That shake is saying, okay, that was a bit intense, and now it's over. It's the release of a breath the whole body was holding. And this gives the shake a second, related job. It works like punctuation, like a full stop at the end of a sentence. Dogs use that shake to mark the boundary between one moment and the next, to close one chapter before opening another. The tense greeting ends, shake, now we move on. The training session pauses, shake, and the dog resets to try again. The exciting arrival calms down, shake, and back to normal life. It is a dog drawing a clear line under what just happened and stepping cleanly into whatever comes next. Now here is where this knowledge becomes genuinely useful to you and even a little humbling. Because one of the most common moments for a dry shake is when you might not expect, right after a hug. You wrap your arms around your dog, full of love, hold it close, and the second you release, it steps back and shakes itself off. It's easy to read that as your dog happily settling back into its day. But very often, that shake is telling you something more honest. It's telling you that being hugged, being wrapped up and held still, was actually a little bit stressful, and now the dog is releasing that tension. It doesn't mean your dog doesn't love you. It just means that this particular kind of contact was a bit much, and the shake is how it resets afterward. That is the real gift of understanding this behavior. The shake turns into a kind of honest little status report on how your dog just felt.
If your dog shakes off every time a certain person greets it, or after a specific handling routine, or whenever a particular situation ends,
It is quietly telling you that those moments carry a little more stress than you might have realized. And that's not a problem to worry about. It's an opportunity, a chance to notice, to soften those moments, and to make your dog's world just a little bit easier. If these small details about dogs fascinate you, subscribe to DogMind so you don't miss the next one. Of course, not every shake is emotional, and it's worth keeping that in mind. Sometimes a dog shakes simply because it just stood up, or its fur got ruffled, or its muscles want to reset, the same way you might roll your shoulders after sitting too long. That kind of shake is just housekeeping, a physical tidy-up, and it's perfectly ordinary. Context, as always, tells you which is which. A shake after a nap is probably just the body. A shake right after a tense or exciting moment is almost certainly the mind. There is one more distinction worth drawing, gently, because it matters. The tension shake-off we've been talking about is a good, healthy, whole-body event, brief and complete, and then the dog moves on. It is different from trembling or shivering, that fine, continuous shaking that can come from cold, fear, or pain, and which means something else entirely. And it's different again from a dog shaking its head over and over, focused on the ears, which can be a sign of an ear problem that deserves a look from your vet. The full-body reset shake is one thing. A dog that trembles or that keeps shaking at its own ears is telling you a different story, and one worth paying attention to.
So the next time your dog stands up after a big cuddle, or walks out of a stressful place, or steps back from a charged little moment and gives that great, loose, rippling shake from nose to tail, stop and really see it. Because that is not leftover bathwater. That is your dog, in real time, letting go of tension you may not even have known it was carrying. That is a nervous system resetting itself. That is a small, wise animal, closing one moment and opening the next, cleanly and completely, and then walking on, a little lighter than before. And now that you can see it, you'll never look at that shake the same way again. If you want to keep learning how to understand the hidden language of your dog, subscribe to DogMind. We'll see you in the next one.